Welcome back to Chaos Corner. It's your old buddy, the Guardian of Chaos, Big Daddy, and I tell it like it is. I'll say that to say this. Here, live to tape, same day coverage of Chaos Corner here, 10, 12 feet below the surface of the earth. Well, with the nearly 2 feet of snow that we got, maybe we're closer to 15 feet below the surface of the earth. Anyway, fans, on to the task at hand. I'll say that to say this. Thanks for being here on YouTube. We know that we're on Twitter right now, but in about a minute and a half, we'll be bouncing over to Guardian of Chaos on YouTube, show number 23. You can see that we're having a good time here down in the bunker. We have a live crowd. No, when I say live crowd, I have as many people here in Chaos Corner as they had last night at the Ocean Center for the North American Wrestling Alliance Jingle Brawl 2020 card. In the legendary, I will say, Ocean Center down in Daytona Beach. So I'll compare the crowds. They're about similar, but that's what we're here to cover. The good, the bad, and the ugly from last night's event on Fight TV for the North American Wrestling Alliance, back with a vengeance. So we're going to cover that here. And the reason I'm covering it is because you know I had a long connection there, 20 years as the longest reigning commissioner in any pro wrestling organization or promotion in the history of pro wrestling. From Bruno Sammartino to yours truly, the Guardian of Chaos. And then, yes, last night, this was one part of the good from the show last night, and that would be Mr. USA. Tony Atlas has taken over my office for commissioner for the North American Wrestling Alliance. So we're going to cover all that. Don't go anywhere. Don't you go anywhere. Don't you dare miss it. Fans, welcome back. We're going to have a lot of fun here today. You could see that I have some classic music here at Chaos Corner just to get us in the mood on a Sunday, same day, live to tape. I hope everyone's tuning in and watching. I just got finished saying it over on Twitter that I'm covering the NAWA today, and plus other news, rumors, and notes in the IWC with your old buddy, the GOC, because I was commissioner there for 20 years. Taking over after the legendary Slam Jam Tour in 1999 for then living legend, former Worldwide Wrestling Federation champion and Hall of Famer Bruno Sammartino. And then I took over for the next 20 years. Did many events, and especially the next one at the Orange County Fairgrounds with the legendary Bret the Hitman Hart. The best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be? Perhaps so. But again, all the legends and the history that comes out. So that's why I'm covering this to now. It was announced last night. And again, the good, the bad, and the ugly from last night's event on Fight TV. Mr. USA Tony Atlas, who has a connection with the Guardian of Chaos. Not only are we both in the New England Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. That's right, Joe Bruin's New England Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame in FanFest 7 last year. We sat right next to each other, myself, Mancini, and Mr. USA, Tony Atlas, and now the Hall of Famer himself, the Soul Patrol, again, like I said, is now the new commissioner taking over for the GOC. So look at the lineage you saw on the NAWA Facebook. From Bruno to Big Daddy to Mr. USA. I couldn't be more humbled and honored and privileged. And again, Tony Atlas. I watched the shows up there with Dan Murata on Boston Wrestling, MWF with the Prodigy, Matt Degnan. You know Dan worked in the WWE front office for years and has a great podcast up there with John Cena Sr. and Boston Wrestling. And they bring on Tony all the time, a true legend. So help support the legends. Watch Tony. Congratulations, Mr. USA, for taking over as commissioner. And that's what we're going to cover here today. We shouldn't be too long. So let's the decade of decadence, the 80s. You're right about that. But thanks for being here on a Sunday. Let me close up and personal with the GOC covering Jingle Brawl 2020 on Fight TV last night because of the personal connection. A lot of things to talk about. A lot of things came out of last night's event. I had boots on the ground at the event, live reports in a 9,000 seat arena at the Ocean Center. Legendary. Let me lower this. We don't want commercials here. Live to tape, same day coverage. Let me lower that down, fans. Again, thanks for being here. We're only 5 minutes in. The Red Solo Cup already here on a Sunday. I hope you have your beverage of choice, whether it be a coffee, a tea, maybe some OJ, I don't know, maybe a Diet Coke. Hey, listen, maybe it's 5 o'clock somewhere. So, cheers to the Red Solo Cup. Chaos Corner. Show number 23 here on YouTube. It's great to be here. I already welcomed you. And again, I've gotten feedback and emails from a lot of different people complaining about the chains or the glasses or history and credentials. A lot of people say, well, you're talk about what you want to talk about longer than what you want to talk about before you get to what you're talking about. Does that make sense to anyone? I'm just happy to be here. It's been a handful of days since we've been here. We've been covering everything from AEW to the WWE to NXT to Ring of Honor to Impact. So there's been, of course, MLW and the Opera Cup still going on. So there's been a lot of things that have been happening in the world of professional wrestling. Well, we're going to cover Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling coming up for January 2nd on their pay-per-view. And like I said, now that the 20-year reign, the longest reign in professional wrestling history with any promotion, major leagues, independent or foreign or international or national, the 20-year reign is over for the GOC. But I'm humbled and honored and thankful. Congratulations, Tony. I'll be seeing you soon, my friend. He still looks great, Atlas. I will say that. Cheers. All right, don't everybody jump up at once. I know there's a lot of audio, a lot of visual, a lot of going on here. Same thing happened last night. Let me get to the coverage. There was some coverage. Fans, I don't know how it did on Fight TV, but, I'll be honest, because that's what we do here. I am honest. I do tell it like it is. Unique, unscripted, raw, no button, no edit, no anything. This is what you get, raw, unscripted from the Guardian of Chaos. So yes, I tuned in last night. Again, Chaos Corner, show number 23 with your old buddy. And I'll say that to say this. Let's get to the review. First off, the Ocean Center. We know the history there from WCW and the NWO and the New World Order and all the history that's going on at the Daytona Beach Ocean Center. 9,000 seat arena, I believe, due to the pandemic. Excuse me. And what's going on with COVID and all the different guidelines and CDC and so on and so forth. And the vaccine is here and it's being administered, and that's another show for another time. We're here to keep this short and hit it and quit it, so to speak. So I guess I had heard through social media and locally, like I said, boots on the ground. I have so many sources. I have to outsource my sources so they're legit. So I guess it could have held 9,000 seat arena could have been allowed up to 3,500. I heard there was less than 100 people live. I'm not counting the Fernandez family, Ray Hercules Hernandez family, who everyone was there for them. A great representation for the legendary Hercules Hernandez. We'll cover that. I heard there was more talent and guests VIP than there was actual paid crowd. I don't know that for a fact. I'm going by what's out there on social media and then what I heard on Boots to the Ground, talking to the Ocean Center in general. So a lot of different reports. So I will say the live crowd there was not a success. You could write it off to the pandemic, the product, the promotion, the timing. I don't know what you could write it off. That's the live report for a 9,000. It reminds me of kind of like the history back from the NAWA and the association with Herb Abrams and the UWF and the big pay-per-view he ran in '92 in Florida. How ironic. In Florida, where, at least 200 or 300 showed up for Abrams for that pay-per-view in a building the size of like 6,000. So I'm not here to bash. I'm here to be honest and partial and biased. I know a lot of people wanted to hear this review because of what's been going on in social media and the different things that were said or not said between the NAWA and my association. That's neither here nor there. It's the business, man. It's all good. I'm just happy to be here. So I will say that as far as the live attendance and what goes on, in the booth, I have a connection to a couple of people in the booth. Well, the one guy in particular. From the Baldies, ECW, WWE, Tough Tony DeVito, who was under my tutelage. I taught him everything he knows. Yeah, DeVito still has the brain of a dehydrated BB, but I'll give him credit. He was entertaining, and you could see that he went to the School of Broadcasting, Promo 101, for as good as he was, and with Ring of Honor and ECW. DeVito, you learned everything you ever learned behind the mic from me from day one. But I'll give you credit. You did good. You were entertaining as a color commentator. You were in there with a young man, Tony T. I don't know much about him. He tried to carry the broadcast, but you carried it, DeVito. I know you corrected him several times. He sounds like he lost his voice. Tony T is a young man. He looks like a greenhorn. I'll give him credit. He seemed to know his game, but that's who was in the booth. Tough Tony DeVito, again, the brain of a turnbuckle. He was with the Baldies, and that says enough. He got his brain scrambled in ECW. So, he got his, so I'll say that. But kudos, DeVito. You learned it from your boy. And again, Tony T, I'll have to give him credit. He was on there, national TV, young, his debut, a couple stumbles as a critic here and there. Didn't really know the moves. DeVito, you could see, was the well-versed guy, but you got to give him credit. I'll give the guy credit. So that's who was in the booth. David Penzer, the legendary. So it was nice to see the NAWA had a nice, credible ring announcer. Hey, listen, it was no Matt DeCourt, the voice of Paradise Alley. It was no Mark Adam Haggerty. It was certainly no Justin Roberts or Frank Krasnowski or certainly Howard Finkel. But Penzer's good, qualified guy. So Penzer was the ring announcer. It's nice to see a legend still in the business who's been all over, well-traveled. Penzer. He's a great listen. He's a great read. So it was nice to see Penzer as the ring announcer. They opened up with one of the girls from Parkland, Florida. We know the tragic story of Parkland. She sang the national anthem, did a good job. So I'll give the girl credit there, and God bless those. And Parkland, prayers and thoughts out to the folks down there and the horrible tragedy that happened there not that long ago. People move on to the next social event, so it's kind of crazy. So congratulations to that young lady. She did a great job singing the national anthem. That's what it's really all about right there. To open up, I'm kind of curious. I don't know if Gangrel had somewhere to go. Maybe he had to go back to the Brood. Maybe he had a Ouija board to get to. Maybe he had a service to get to. Maybe he had to suck somebody's blood. I don't know. But to open up, Jingle Brawl was Gangrel and the Tokyo Monster Kahagas. Now, I'm going to say this first off. Gangrel, I have a lot of respect for. The Brood, WWE alumni, was just in AEW. He still looks like he's in tremendous shape. I got to give Gangrel credit. I know he's got a school down there in the Sunshine State, but he represented himself. He came to the ring, and it was weird seeing him walk to the ring in his gimmick, and there's no crowd. Now, you could have had 3,000 people. I heard there were comp tickets thrown all over the Sunshine State like a drunken sailor on leave for the weekend. Picture this, going over a bridge in Manhattan, going over to the GW, you just got finished robbing a bank or something. You got all kinds of money. You got cop cars chasing you, this, that. You're just throwing money out the window, this, that. Like I said, similar to a drunken sailor. So it was weird to see nobody there. Obviously some talent. So Gangrel looked fantastic, and so did the Tokyo Monster. I will say both of these men are alumni in the pro wrestling world. Gangrel, a legend. He looked tremendous, and he took it to the Tokyo Monster's ass. It was a good match. Very solid. Again, curious as to why you would open up your pay-per-view on your return show back with a vengeance. Maybe back to the drawing board on that one. But It was a solid bout. This is reported. There's out there some reports that came out. I don't know who threw it out there. Who Capone has in his back pocket. Fight TV, PWI insider Mike Johnson. Again, reliable, credible people. I'll give them credit. But again, follow the money. I've always said that to people. Follow the money. So different, the good, the bad, the ugly here on Chaos Corner, show number 23, covering the NAWA Back with a Vengeance from last night at the Ocean Center. So again, 15 minutes in here, Gangrel and the Cahegas, the Tokyo Monster, was solid. Gangrel hit the flatliner, looks great, covers him for the pin. So again, placement, I'm not sure you open up a show with two veterans like this, especially a star who's still relevant in Gangrel. So big ups there. Second match to come up was for the Intercontinental Champion. I don't know how it was determined, creative-wise, whether it was the opening of this bout, placement of the card order. I'll talk about this, who you were assigned, what was the qualifications. They really didn't tell you anything. They just started storylines on the first show back, and I guess we'll see where it leads. This is from creative, and I guess the creative team is Cindy Snow, Lou Reardon, Kyle Bowman. I don't know if Tony T's involved. They have several different people. I know other people were supposed to be involved. I don't know about Big Guido. I don't know about Sal E. Graziano. I don't know about Paul Roma. I don't know about Mario Mancini. They were all supposed to be involved as far as front office and agents and directors, but I heard they were not in the Sunshine State. Rumor, speculation, innuendo, that's not for me to decide. I'm going with reports, people that were at the airport, people that were at the venue, people that were at the Cheetah Club. I got a call from the Cheetah Club. I guess that's a local club down there who has, connections through Cindy Snow, who I love personally. Great person, Cindy Snow, salt of the earth, and certainly a talented lady. But they have a connection there with the Cheetah Club, an adult entertainment exotic dancer club, escort. I don't know what you want to call it. Not here to judge it or anything like that, but one of the sponsors, I guess that's what they're associated with. So that's neither here nor there, but we'll reference that a couple times here on Chaos Corner Live. So again, I'm not questioning the creative. It is what it is. Okay, the second match is for the Intercontinental Champion. I know that both of these men had WWE developmental deals at one time, years back. They're both veterans, and this is Mika Taylor with his manager, the Mad Dog Sawyer. I don't know the connection, Mad Dog Dan Sawyer. He certainly looked the part against the Inferno Kid, who we know for years has been around for a long time. I believe even Taylor might have been in the military at one time, so we'll give him big ups for that. That's the second match here. It's for the IC title. A little slow, but again, I'm not here to critique too bad. I'm going to tell it like it is because I do tell it like it is, whether you want to hear it or not. But I do keep things positive. So a little slow, respect these men. I think the kid might have got hurt. I don't know. Someone that was there thinks that he might have hurt his shoulder. I did read, where did I see it come across my timeline this morning? I'm not sure who sent it to me across my timeline that kid might have got hurt. But again, the match was a little slow. But the bottom line, your Intercontinental Champion is Mika Taylor with the Mad Dog for the belt. It was a clean pin. There was a lot of outside interference during the match, as you well know, and that's how I believe the kid got hurt. But there was a lot of outside interference from the Mad Dog, the manager there for Mika Taylor, who's your new champion, and they even shook hands afterwards. I don't know where it leads into a storyline, but I don't know where they're going with that. But there's your new champion. Third match is a group of guys that I guess that Capone might be having a deal with out of Fort Lauderdale, Coastal Championship Wrestling. I've never really heard of them. I know they have some solid talent, but that was the third match out. The Jackal and Cha-Cha Charlie, two gentlemen I don't know a lot about, but they represented themselves decent. Okay, I don't know the talent. It's a lot of local Florida talent they used in the NAWA. Not a lot of big-name talent, a lot of homegrown stuff, but I will say that the Jackal and Cha-Cha Charlie represented CCW pretty well, and both guys were athletic, and I'll give them credit. A great frog splash by Cha-Cha Charlie. It wasn't bad. And Cha-Cha Charlie came up with the win against the Jackal, and out of all the matches that were on here tonight and the names that you're going to hear, Who knew? A company that's going to be international, I guess. Although I think these guys are from here in the States, but not here nor there. It's a work, baby. It's kayfabe. Old school. They're trying to bring it back, right? Old school. It's funny that probably the most outstanding match of the night, or at least the best athletic wise. I'm not going to count Gangrel. Could be two guys from an independent group in Florida, Jackal and Cha Cha Charlie, who was the eventual winner. So not bad. Next, it was supposed to be advertised as a three-way ladies match for the NAWA women's title. Again, I don't know where it's going, where the storyline came up from, the creation. I don't really know where they're going from. It wasn't explained. It wasn't written out beforehand. So who knows? But here's the lineup. Roma Luchadora, Stormy Lee, and Lindsay Snow, who you might have just seen on AEW Dynamite or AEW Dark. And I will say, at least she looks the part. Very athletic. So I'll give Lindsay Snow props for that. I was impressed with Lindsay Snow. Roma Luchadora. Stormy Lee comes out in a wheelchair, which wasn't really a wheelchair. I don't know where the creative is and why you're starting a storyline here. And she comes out with some guy, Sean Davis, a big rotund. He looks like 10 pounds of sausage in a 5-pound bag. I don't know who he is. He was a manager, I guess, and this is what they're doing here on NAWA. I see they use Mad Dog as a manager, and now this guy with Stormy Lee, Sean Davis, I don't know. Going by what I heard, he's out there screaming like a lunatic in the middle of an empty arena. I don't know what kind of voice it was, but it was very cringeworthy. The gimmick was cringeworthy. I respect Stormy and the female grapplers and the female talent. Like I said, Lindsay Snow is very talented. Roma Luchadora looks like she may have the goods. Stormy Lee didn't really do anything. She had a neck brace to wheelchair, so a little confused by that. I do want to make recognition to the ref in this match. Again, the referees that Capone brought in. It's great to see Billy Silverman, another legend, like I had already talked about David Penzer, Billy Silverman. And it's good to see my friend Blue Shoes, Gina Monti, an unbelievable referee based here out of the Zebras of Justice in the Northeast New England area, who has gone global. Gina Monti is one heck of a referee, easy on the eyes. She's incredibly talented. Everybody was kung fu. Don't get messed up with Gina Monti. So it was nice to see her down there in the NAWA as a referee. And the reason why I bring that up, because Ref Gina actually gets involved in this bout and actually takes the bump, is in the wrong place at the wrong time. There's outside interference from Stormy Lee, who ends up not being a three-way. It ends up being Roma Luchador against Lindsay Snow. And again, with the strikes and kicks from both the ladies and especially Snow, very impressed. But Gina gets in the way. There's a bump. She's out and about. Stormy Lee gets involved. Outside interference. Again, the tubby guy. Again, I don't know what's going on. We'll call him, I don't know, Fatty McButterpants. I don't know. Is that a good name for him? Fatty McButterpants? This is what you're coming up with, right? I'm just saying. Independent pro wrestling. Jim Cornette says it best. Give everybody credit. Respect and props to everyone, but I tell it like it is, just like I do with every other product on here. Whether you're the major leagues, AAA, AA, single A, or rookie ball. Whether you're history, back with a vengeance, not back with a vengeance. That's what you get here on Chaos Corner. That's what you had. Remember. So back onto that. The bottom line is here, your new NAWA champion, due to outside interference, Ref Gina finally gains her wits about her. She's in incredible shape. If you've ever seen her stuff on social media, the girl is as nimble as a minx. She's a martial artist extraordinaire that's constant training. The future of referees in the world of professional wrestling. Gina Monti, congratulations. The bottom line is Roma Luchadora comes out of this after the outside interference from Stormy Lee, who wasn't injured at all. It was a big work. Again, I question the creative, but it's the first time out, so I get it. Young people, green people in the creative. Luchador rolls up Lindsay Snow, holds the tights after the interference. Boom, 1, 2, 3 by Ref Gina. and your new NAWA Women's Champion is Roma Luchadora. It was what it was. The storyline, the creative, I'll question it, but it is what it is. Which leads us into a promo with the Cheetah Club, and out comes Cindy Snow and the Cheetah Girls. And again, I'm not here to disrespect anyone. I worked in that business for many years as one of the lead head doorman, bouncers, uh, uh, private security. We know all that. Let's not get into that. It's another show for another time. So Cindy comes out, well, again, been around a long time. WWE Hardcore Champion, TNA, trained in OVW. More importantly, she's not just Al Snow's ex-wife. So we know the lineage and the history of Cindy. So it was good to see her. But she comes out with the Cheetah Girls, and again, the Association of Adult Entertainment. I don't know, you're walking a slippery slope depending on where you are, but in Florida it's wide open. That's why people love the Sunshine State. So they come out, and then apparently because the audio was a little off, and I'll get into production value of the show later on, although the Ocean Center looked great and the setup was good. Just going to say it's independent pro wrestling, bro. It's what it is. So another girl comes out, and now there's a second. Now, while Roma Luchador is freshly out of the ring with the title, there's a second girl. I didn't know who she was, have no idea. You couldn't hear her. The audio was off. The Cheetah Girls, I don't know, what talk about the A team, the B team, the C team, the D team. I don't know. No disrespect to anybody. I'm just saying. See the girl up here behind the feathers, the mold? She would have done well on a pay-per-view for Jingle Brawl. You would have been looking at her. I'm just saying, it's a work, baby. I'm only kidding. It's a work. So on to the task at hand. Back to what I said. So they both had belts. I don't know what it was leading into the next show, the storyline, the creative. Again, I'm not going to question it, but I'll question it a little bit because I want to know. That's what's going on. She's supposedly the real champ. I come to find out through social media, her name is Marina Tucker. I don't know who she is, Marina Tucker. So both had belts. I have no idea, but we saw that Luchador won it in the ring. So there was a lot of confusion there. And again, the Cheetah Girls, I guess, I don't know. Maybe we'll have a wet T-shirt contest at the next event. It is what it is. I love burlesque, and if that's what it was. Next comes out, and this is where the connection is, fans, and I love it. And again, the lineage, and I'm proud, I'm humbled. My name was brought up, Chaos, a couple of times on the broadcast by Tony DeVito, and it was mentioned, and I get it, and I know it's all good. Trust me, I'm humbled, I'm honored, I appreciate it. I appreciate all the positivity. But out comes, and this was again part of the good, the bad, the ugly. This was part of the good. The new commissioner, there was a lot of emphasis on it. Is Mr. USA, the new commissioner, Tony Atlas, looking tremendous. I already talked about it again. Bruno to Big Daddy to Mr. USA. I love it. I couldn't be more humbled and honored to be in a group with. Again, it continues in things that can't be taken away. God bless, blessed and fortunate fans. That's why I'm covering this. It is what it is, baby. Will I be viewing in the second time around or seeing the storylines? I got to be honest. I don't watch a lot of the product. If I'm not watching the WWA, I may not be watching a lot of other things too, if you understand. But it's great to see this because the bottom line was Barbara Goodish came out. The late, great Bruiser Brody's wife, Frank Goodish, who was Bruiser Brody. And they went into the ring, Tony Atlas and Barbara Goodish, and they did a nice video tribute to Bruiser Brody. And again, follow the money. Everyone's talking about money. Money's an issue. Contracts, false promises, this, that. Just telling it like it is. I'll say that to say this. Presented again a classy tribute. Again, I know the Cauliflower Alley Club was there. Maybe PWI Insider. Again, follow the money. And they presented Barbara with a nice belt from the NAWA in honor and memory of Bruiser Brody. So I thought that was great to see Tony Atlas and to see Barbara Goodish and to have a belt. I'll give Capone credit. He's always been classy in that fact. So they gave her a nice belt. There's the new commissioner, Tony Atlas. My reign is over, the longest in pro wrestling history. 20 years. I couldn't be more humbled and honored. Thank you, Godfather. Ooh, baby, baby. So that was a nice, I'll give it credit, part of the good, the bad, the ugly from last night. We're 30 minutes in. Who knew I would take this long on this, right? A lot of people wanted to see this and were interested in this because of the connection. You know that. And who knows what I could say, but I keep it. Come on. Really? Really? Next was the three-way dance for the NAWA Tag Team Championship. And that was the Blaylock and Creed, the modern-day sharpshooters. Nick Payne and Hakim Ali, the current PAPW Tag Team Champions. They were down there at the NAWA, and they came out with, of all people, again, Chaz Moretti. I don't really know him, but I know of him since this has started over the last couple of months. Mr. Class and Suave de Boner, Chaz Moretti, was their manager. Again, if you go back and look at my media and different things, and not to hate on anyone, because I'm glad everybody got a chance to work, right? Even all those that weren't booked and false advertised and all this different stuff. And we'll get onto that too as we cover the inside, the good, the bad, the ugly, like the Heroes of Wrestling pay-per-view, or Herb Abrams back in '92 in Florida, or at the Gulf Coast Hotel in Mississippi in Biloxi for the Heroes of Wrestling pay-per-view. We're all along different lines and similar stories, and there's always good, bad, and ugly in everything. But anyway, Chaz Moretti, look at the videos, back to what I was going to say, of myself with the House of Pain. I'm out of the business. Listen, I'm retired. I'm not looking to get anybody's job. No one's knocking on my door. I'm not trying to come back. It's not a money grab. All right, so, okay. But we would have been a great team, and those videos and promos we did were priceless. So I see nothing but good things for HOP going up. New gear, new manager, Chaz Moretti. Who knows where it's going to go? So they came out next, and it was great to see the HOP. And then it was supposed to be the Slambinos. I don't know, Frankie Chiazzo, AJ Januzzo. There's another guy with like 3 of them, 5 of them, 10 of them. I don't know. But the Chiazzo guy, who DeVito says is Oomba Goomba, for a second I thought DeVito was going to get in the ring and tag with this guy because, again, as far as cards subject to change, I guess a lot of guys that were false advertised or didn't show or travel or whatever it is you want to blame it on. False promises. There were a lot of rumors out there, speculation, innuendo. I'm not going to bash anybody, but we know and you know who knows and all the big names, and we're going to get into that. So he comes out and explains his partner's not there. So out comes the giant Logan Creed. Now, I will say this, 6'5", 300 pounds, monster of a man. So it comes down to be half of the Slambinos. Chiazzo, who brings out the giant Logan Creed, the modern day sharpshooters, and the House of Pain. Again, their house, their rules, their time. So they were moving around. I'll give the HOP credit for as big as they are, and then to look at them, you just think they're two big burly guys. They move like a combination of the Hart Foundation and the Rockers and what they do in the ring. And they are veterans, and they've been around for a while, so it was nice to see them not only dominate this area, but now to dominate the NAWA, which is just another company for the HOP. They've dominated every company they've been in, so the NAWA is no different. And they whooped the modern-day sharpshooters' ass. They beat them from pillar to post in this, throwing Logan Creed, I guess, who was something that was unannounced in this, so they weren't prepared for the big monster, but HOP made very good showing out of themselves in a country, in a company, not a country, in a company outside of this region, although it is an independent regional company. They just happen to be running in Florida because of the COVID. And I'll give them credit for the legendary arenas. I like that part of it. I do like the history about that. So they got that part right. So tag team titles, it was all over the place. The sharpshooters were modern-day sharpshooters, really as much smaller guys, high flowers, got their asses handed to them. They held on. I'll give them credit. They were all over the ring. They were high-flying. They were outside of the ring a lot, but they really got their asses whooped by Chiazzo and Logan Creed and certainly the HOP. So and this is what I was impressed about with the modern-day sharpshooters. They look young. They look green, but they did an outside senton on the House of Pain. That really was an impressive spot in that match, and it was all over the place with all these 3 different men and with huge men, and then the high flyers. So a difference in unannounced talent being there, a difference in tag teams and who's been together longer. Definitely had to give the edge to the HOP on this. In the end, Logan Creed and Chikiatsu, half of the Slambinos. I don't know what you want to call them, what their team would be, but they are the new NAWA Tag Team Champions, and they did pin the HOP in the middle of the ring. There was a lot of chaos, a lot of outside interference, a lot of broken up pins, a lot of high impact maneuvers. It really was total chaos, and that is pun intended. But your tag team champions are now Chiazzo and Creed, whatever you want to call them. But big props to the HOP, and they looked good. And they got the best of the two teams in this match. And this is another reason why I'm covering it, because the local connection and my connection to the HOP, who inducted me, the House of Pain, Nick Payne and Hakim Ali, did induct yours truly into the Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. So that's the connection there, why I even watched this to begin with. Commissioner for 20 years, Slam Jam, Bret Hart, Bruno Sammartino, all the stars and legends. And back then, I guess, what has happened with all the different things and rumors and speculation this time around, and the return in all these years, and then throwing the HOP and it really is, that's why I'm here for this show. So I'm hoping you're enjoying it, fans. It's not for everybody. It's not the big time. I understand that, but I'm hoping you're enjoying this. And again, HOP looked damn good. Let's get on to the task at hand. Let's get on to the next page. The timeline's going crazy here. Same day coverage. We will be putting this up very shortly. We're going to be under an hour with this, so it'll be interesting to see. It's a lot of fun covering it. I love doing it, and I wanted to especially get the first show of this Jingle Brawl. And again, that name sounds familiar. I know Paradise Alley was the originator of that, that's for sure. It's been used many times by organizations, but I get the connection. And again, I want to know where a lot of different people were. This is just conjecture. This is a documentary. This is history. This is behind the scenes. This is what you get here besides coverage of the major leagues, my personal touch and memorabilia, what I've done, and then the behind the scenes shoot stuff that you're not going to see anywhere else, because no one else is going to tell the truth. They're going to fluff it. It's going to be like being at Cheetahs, and you know how they have the fluffer in the certain movies out there in Silicon Valley where all the politicians are, and don't think they're not involved. You know, a fluffer. That's all. That's all it is a fluffer. Cheetahs. Get it? I know that you do, and I know that you're watching. We continue with Chaos Corner, show number 23, live to tape. It's your old buddy, the GOC, the former commissioner, longest in pro wrestling history. It's going to go down in history books, independent or otherwise. Next we have, and I love to see this guy because I consulted with him before. I've been in the ring with him and against him. He even took a Singapore cane to me, and I slapped the shit out of him a couple of times. I loved working with him. What a true professional, back to the 70s and 80s, and when he was a referee for Florida Championship Wrestling all the way to his infamous days in ECW, and that would be the Fonzie, Bill Alfonso. It was good to see Fonzie, so it's nice to see some of the legends. He came out with some guy, I have no idea who he is, the Brazilian Destroyer, Vinicius, whatever his name is, against another guy. I have no idea who he is, where they came from. Doesn't mean that they're not in the business just because I don't know them. We know I don't know anything, right? What's my credibility? Who am I? The most well-known unknown. Well, I was in a gym somewhere, in an abandoned warehouse. My dressing room was in a mob closet. Who am I? I never signed a contract. Like, I got no credibility. You took one picture with someone. You know, right? Stop laughing. We already talked about this. More people here than at the Ocean Center. Mark it down. So we go on to, it was great to see Fonzie. First off, Fonz, I don't know if he had a couple of adult beverages. I love Fonzie. We've partied together before. He almost walked into whatever sparklers like Gilbert would hold up, sparklers they had there for the NAWA. He almost walked into the fireworks. That's number one. But it was great in all seriousness. Put the chicanery aside and the gimmick. It was great to see Bill Alfonso, a true legend, to see him managing this Vinicius guy against Ariel Levy. The only thing that I can say about it is Vinicius went over, a pile driver for a win. These guys looked apart. Vinicius was a big guy with a mask. He looked like Bane or the Gimp from Pulp Fiction, and it was just great to see Fonzie. And then we go into, again, back to the three-time tag team champions for PAPW, their house, their rules, the HOP, a nice promo coming up for February 13th, No Remorse, at the Dorton Arena in Raleigh, North Carolina. look for the House of Pain to get these titles and dominate another independent group. They did a nice promo for Fight TV, the House of Pain, for the February 13th at the Dorton Arena. The next match, which was a solid match, Pro Wrestling 101, True Professionals. This is what, again, I'll refer to Gangrel and how professional, what a true professional he is. Let's go to the younger generation and veteran guys that I respect. And this was solid Pro Wrestling 101. Ended up with a pin, a classic heel versus face, good versus evil. Even had a little foreign object in it. And guys that are current and relevant now, from MLW, Davey Boy Smith Jr., and from current Impact, and he's been around for a long time, Johnny Swinger, back to ECW days. And DeVito referenced that too in the booth, and I'll give him credit. Tony T, again, he was green, he was this, a lot of flubs, but give him credit for his first time out. The guy's got a future, I guess, if someone's going to pay you. And he's young, so I understand where they went. There were supposed to be other people that were involved with that, but good enough. DeVito brought a lot of color to it, so he referenced his ECW connection with Swinger. But this was a solid match. Davey Boy Smith, pin Swinger, nice, clean. This is what you go to wrestling for. So out of all the bouts so far, this is what you're looking for. This is part of the good of the NAWA. So it was good to see Davey Boy and Swinger, two pros in there. A nice running power slam by Davey Boy for the victory. So that was a good, solid bout. Which leads me into another part that was classy. Again, the good, bad, the ugly. These were the few things that stood out. Gangrel stood out. The Davey Boy Swinger match was solid, 101. The tribute to Bruiser Brody was a class act, and the connection with Atlas and Bruno and myself. And then the tribute to Ray Hercules Hernandez. So it was nice where it really started with Power and Glory and Paul Roma, who did the original tribute at Unchained on Friday the 13th in the Hercules Hernandez Memorial Tournament. This is got PAPW all over it, from the name jingle brawl to the Hercules Memorial Cup for the title here. And I understand he was the first NAWA champion, and I get it. But when you say Hercules Hernandez, you say Power and Glory and Paul Roma and Paradise Alley. You don't say Tony Capone, the Godfather, or the NAWA. Let's be honest. That's a fucking shoot. So, okay, it's a nice touch. I get it, okay? But let's be honest. So it was nice to see the Fernandez family. They're great people. I've seen them on Roma's podcast, Maintaining the Truth, which is on Facebook Live and Twitch every Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. with Avi Klein and Wrestling with Anything But. So it's good to see, as I said, whether it be Barbara Goodish and now the Fernandez family, who they came out, there are about 25 of them. Wepa was one big party, so it was great to see them and a nice tribute. And they also got a belt, again, Follow the Money. They did a nice little video to Hercules Hernandez and a tribute, so it was great to see that part of it and see the whole family, grandkids, kids, generations of the Fernandez, because Hercules was a tribute, but again, he was a legend and belongs in the Hall of Fame. But when I hear Hercules Hernandez, I think Power and Glory, World Wrestling Federation, Paul Roma. Not the NAWA. Tony Capone. No disrespect. No disrespect. So that was nice. Which led us into the 22-man battle royal for the NAWA title, which was in honor of Hercules. It was supposed to be a 15-man, ended up being a 22-man. Before we get on to that, there was a lot of people that were advertised. I don't know where they were, if they were behind the scenes, if they weren't there, but they certainly weren't involved. From the legendary Samoan Dynasty, Alpha Jr., L.A. Smooth, not there. The Blood Warrior and Kevin Sullivan, not there. The legend Andrew Anderson, not there. Current female star Amber Nova, not there. Front office personnel, legend PAPW Paradise 4, president and talent relations and agents, Paul Roma, Mario Mancini, as I already said, not there. Showtime Marcel Williams, unbelievable veteran, advertised, not there. From the FBI, ECW, I don't know, maybe they were part of the crowd that was bigger than the crowd. Big Sal, Big Guido, not there. House of Heathens, I'm not sure. I may have seen the male cohort, not there. So just, I know it's cards subject to change. I get it. But again, going back to different things that I've heard about false promises, what have I experienced? Rich Mancuso, Avi Klein, different names that I could throw out there, just using names. I don't know the stories. I don't know the facts. Just things that have come across my timeline and certain things that have been sent to me of dealings, and that's all something you always have to keep in your head here when it comes to the business. Good things. Again, I said I was going to say it here at 45 minutes in: the good, the bad, and the ugly. And so that's what I'm presenting it. Very honest, with a twist, with an edge, because of the connection. The 22-man battle royal was obviously way too long to begin with. Again, I questioned the creative, the placement of the matches, and the different things. 3-4 hours for an independent outlaw pay-per-view on Fight TV or not. A long time when there's a lot of alternatives out there, whether it be Beyond, Chaotic, Northeast, House of Glory, and not to mention the several top major league organizations and promotions, and SWE down in Texas, and there's just so many different organizations. And to charge 20 or 30 bucks, whatever it was, I mean, again, I said I was going to say the good, the bad, and the ugly, but here's the good part. Bull Dempsey, aka Bull James, was in the battle royal, so it was great to see him. And it looked like there was a little bit of a shoot, a little bit of reality there between the big bull and Leon Scott, the crazy psycho there. I could be wrong, going by what I've heard, what I saw. Looked like there could have been a little heat during that battle royal between Bull Dempsey and Leon Scott. Another guy called the Beast Man, a big heavy set guy. Gary Reno, I'll give him credit, fighting cancer, coming back, making his return. That was good to see. Storm Thomas showed up again as part of the good, the bad, the ugly. He was supposed to be advertised in the IC match. Wasn't there. Shows up in the Battle Royal. No explanation. Again, a lot of the part of the good, the bad, and the ugly out of Jingle Brawl for the NAWA. I'm going to give it to you straight. I'm not going to give it to you like Lackeys and Fight and PWI Insider and Mike Johnson. Nothing against them. They do a great job. They're legends, but they're going to fluff it. Again, I'll refer to the industry and cheetahs and all that and burlesque and all the stuff going on with Pornhub and all the illegal bull that you could put that out there, but they're going to censor people and censorship. It's a fluffer. That's all it is, a fluffer. Get it? Brian Brock, again, all these different guys. I don't know a lot of them. I'll give them credit for anyone that steps into the ring. I'm not here to bash. You step into the ring, I give you credit. Good, right, wrong, bad, or otherwise. But Storm Thomas, no explanation. Again, I question the creative. First show, I get it. The bottom line is it comes down to the final four here were Bull Dempsey, Storm Thomas, Brian Brock, and of course Chase Stevens. Chase Stevens, a veteran, been around for a little while, younger guy, had some history and Impact, I believe, or TNA. So that was your final four in the 22-man battle royal. A lot of these guys, again, independent wrestling, they looked apart. That's why it's called that. I get it was in a classic historical venue. Just because you're in a big venue that holds a lot of people and you're on pay-per-view and the setup is decent and you got the production part down doesn't mean that you have the storytelling, the psychology, the certain employees, the backstage. It doesn't mean that it comes out that way and that you're successful because you're on there. It takes money. You have to show money to make money, follow the money, and you can get whatever you want. We could all be on there. But so that's the part of the good, the bad, and the ugly. Just being honest. I gave you the good. I gave you some of the bad. I'm giving you the ugly. So those were the final four. The bottom line is here. Chase Stevens is your new NAWA champion. I don't know how they came out of that, where the storyline went. Again, it was all over the place. The commentators try to go back and forth, Tony T and DeVito. But so there's the wrap up. The 22-man battle royal. It went on way too long. The bell and the selection of the timing of it, and the placement of it. I don't know if I would have had it here as the final match. Again, it didn't matter with the crowd because there was no crowd. But to keep people on the Fight TV app and all that for this long. So there it is. There's your champion, Chase Stevens, your new NAWA champ. So that's the rundown and the breakdown here from Chaos Corner, show number 23, breaking down Back with a Vengeance, back to the drawing board, NAWA Jingle Brawl 2020 from the Ocean Center, and they move on to February 13th with what Tony Capone says in certain podcasts and stuff that he took over for me because they collaborated. No remorse, no regret. People naysayers. You know, sort of different things that I wanted before I wrap it up here on show number 23. There were a few cameras at ringside. The presentation and production value was okay. Tony even did that back in the day for Slam Jam and different shows. He always put in the thought for the presentation and production, not so much creative and storylines and writing and all that. But and the sound was a little off and the lighting was dark and it was okay. The hard cam and the audio was a little off at spots. But this is the good, bad, and the ugly. I don't want to be too critical with all that. Overall, I'd give it a C. I will say that. Again, I said it was going to be the good, the bad, and the ugly. And there was during the Battle Royal here, there was a scary scene at ringside when the bus, one of the guys, I don't know who he is, tossed one of the other grapplers over the top, supposed to catch him. I talk about this outside. The guys are grapplers, supposed to be there. You trust their lives with them. It happens in every show, from the big time to independent shows. And the NAWA is a perfect example about safety and health and longevity and risk. And I guess for a little while, this worker, the talent, was knocked out, was unconscious at ringside. They didn't show it on the live broadcast or on TV, but he got a severe concussion. I guess he's going to be okay. Here it is, less than 24 hours later. But it was a scary scene, and whoever was supposed to catch him and how the spot went down was not good. And I say it all the time, and I reference it all the time, and this is no different. And again, thankfully he's okay, but he was knocked out. It was a scary scene ringside at Jingle Brawl. So with all the different production values and the way it was presented, storytelling, creative, psychology, talent, in-ring, out-ring, for the whole kit and caboodle, a lot of show and no go. It's like going out and buying a car that cost 25 grand. Remember the old lemon law? Or the day back in the expression? And that's what I took out of NAWA. Some very good talent, some solid work in certain spots, some future with some certain people, and some people that didn't belong there. The creative, the storyline, I get it. It's new, it's back. Give it time, it'll build. They got shows lined up in February and March. Just giving my honest opinion. The Bruiser Brody thing was tremendous tribute, and Hercules, and bringing in Atlas as the commissioner. Yeah, again, humbled and honored. It just adds to the lineage. Overall, I'm going to give it a C. And hope for better, moving on, being positive, because I do bring positivity. And on a side note of what I noticed, because of, again, personal connection, that for a year I was on the worldwide Dino Costa show, a.k.a. Patrick Ryan show, and, his history and who he was and who he is now and what he's all about. And I'm not here to bash, but it's funny being on his show for a year, and you fans that listened to it and knew it and heard Chaos Corner on that show and the platform, his interest. And if it wasn't for you, the fans and my followers and people that donated to his platform and sent in emails and listened to me every Thursday night in my weekly spot for a year, 35 episodes, that I brought fans and attention and listeners to his platform, which he likes to take credit for, and including Tony, who's donating hundreds of dollars to be on the platform. And good for them. More exposure, this, that. I don't know if they're meant for each other. Who knows where it'll go. They're trying to go out to Wyoming. But the whole point of bringing this up is you guys remember the segments of Chaos Corner with Dino Costa, and how he just didn't know what he was talking about, had no interest, made no bones about it, didn't care, licked my balls more or less, was thankful to have me there, but always was snide and dark in his rest of his shows and always had something to say. I'm not here to bash him. I heard he talked about me on his year anniversary, and him and Capone were decent talking about me because now they have a show on there. But it's funny to see him on. He obviously paid for it. He never gave a dang about anything that we did, and it showed, because the product that he portrayed with me, he was terrible. He may be a great extreme talented guy for what he does, but he was terrible in the wrestling world and for the IWC and for the community. And to see what he's doing now is complete fraud. So again, I was going to say the good, the bad, and the ugly, even on a personal note, because it's well known. This is nothing that I'm not saying it's not out there, documented. It's not speculation. It's not rumor. It's not innuendo. It's fact. I'm not being the bitter old man. I'm just telling it like it is. So to see him in the chat room acting like he knows what he's talking about, he actually was like a girl on Snapchat or something like that, or on social media. Oh, how classy. Oh, Tony Capone. Oh, it's so great. This, that. And if it was from a fan or someone that was honest and sincere and dedicated and passionate, we're all marks. I could respect that. Someone being enthusiastic and positive and wanted a much needed, viable alternative. But you could see the phoniness, the fakeness, the fraud, and how he's about following the money. And again, grateful he gave me an opportunity. He's a great, talented guy in certain ways, but you can see why the bridges burned and everything has turned out when he's on internet radio from being at the pinnacle on Sirius XM, and that's the facts. So I wanted to address that, and to see him on there, because I got a lot of feedback from it, it's almost embarrassing from a guy. Oh, I don't give a shit. I don't.